Hi, good day. I'm Evan P. Cabilia, and today I will discuss about the learner's diversity. This topic was discussed by me through our LOC session last year. So let me discuss this also with you. I hope you will bear with me. So, our objective for today's topic, learners' diversity, our objective is to apply differentiated instruction to address diverse learners. In psychology, we learned that no two individuals are alike. I remember when I was a freshman college, and my psychology professor told us to uh, take this into heart because since we will be teachers, and this can help us in managing our classrooms and in preparing our lessons. That's why I always put this into heart that each individual, each pupils that I have is unique, and that I have to make sure that when I prepare my lessons, it should be uh, their diversities should be considered. Okay, this picture shows it all. It can show the diversity of your learners. So it's now in the hands of the teacher on how are they going to address this diversity in the classroom. So what is learners diversity? When we say learners diversity, can be a definition of um, can be a race. Our learners diverse in race, ethnicity, their gender, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, the age, physical abilities, even religious beliefs, political beliefs, or other ideologies. So the concept of diversity is it encompasses acceptance and respect. It means understanding that each individual is unique and recognizing our individual differences. So the diversity in the classroom, when we say diversity in the classroom, occurs at many different levels and displayed in many different forms in the modern classroom. There is not only gender and racial diversity in the mainstream classroom, but also learning diversity as well. It is important that educators recognize the different learners and meet their needs. So, what are the traits and characteristics of diverse learners? So, can be learning disabilities, behavioral or emotional disabilities. It can be mental retardation. It can be autism. It can be gifted and talented. It can be a speech and language disorders. It can be blindness and low vision, or the kinesthetic learners. So there are tips for good teaching in for diverse learners. First, we have to focus on students as our learners. And second, we have to respect and adjust for diversity. Third, we have to provide context specific information and support. Fourth is facilitate meaningful intercultural dialogue and engagement. Fifth is be adaptable, flexible, and responsive to evidence. Sixth, prepare students for life in a globalized world. So the concept of diversity is each of our pupils are different. May it be gender, um, race, ethnicity, um, can be disabilities, learners, learning disabilities. So what matters most is as a teacher, how are we going to handle, how are we going to address these disabilities that our learners still will learn. So what are the key questions for the teachers? The teacher can say, can I help my students learn whatever their capabilities, learning styles, cultural heritage, socioeconomic backgrounds, and other differences are? That should be the key questions for the teachers. And teachers should answer if, if, if those concepts, if those key factors really affects the learners. It really affects the learning of the learners, of our pupils. So teachers can facilitate the learning process in diverse types of learners. How? First, recognizing and respecting individual differences. That should be the key. We have the respect, we have to recognize that each and every one is different. Each individual is different. And as a teacher, we have to recognize that and we have to respect the differences of each of our learners. Second, then using knowledge about people's differences to plan and design diverse sets of learning activities to ensure that all pupils can attain appropriate opportunities. So we have to, in planning our lessons, we should always think of the differences. In planning and designing our lessons, we should always think of our pupils' differences. The diverse sets of their learning active the diverse sets of learning activities will help them attain the learning that they need to learn. So now the challenge of teaching diverse learners. So what will be the challenge for the teachers? So teachers can help their students by the philosophy of teaching called differentiated instruction to maximize learning for all students. And then differentiated instruction, a teacher often provides options for learning a topic or a skill. So that's now the challenge of teaching diverse learners. Where now it comes now the differentiated instruction. Next is, so what are the key questions when planning? So when we're going to plan for our lesson, what will be the key questions? So you have to consider, do I know the abilities, needs, and interests of each of my students? What do my pupils need to learn? What interactions will facilitate and support students' learning? And what situations will encourage and support learning? And what are the most appropriate ways for students to demonstrate their learning? And what are the indicators of success in learning? So, what innovative and practical resources do you use to accommodate diverse learners? These are the tips for pupils diversity. First, you have to vary the examples you use to illustrate concepts. There should be variations of the examples in illustrating the concepts that we want, concepts of our lessons. And then diversify methods of assessing and evaluating student learning. So there should be diversity of our activities. And then the third is allow students to have personal choice and decision making opportunities concerning what they will learn and how they will learn it. And the last is we have to identify what learning styles do our students have. Are they visual? They're more on graphs and flashcards. Are they auditory? More on lecture and music. Are they physical, more hands-on and movement, or the kinesthetic type? Or are they verbal, more on writing or presenting? Are they logical? They are more on patterns and statistics. Are they social, more on collaboration and teams? Or are they solitary, the independent and individual? So let's start with dominant kinesthetic. So the dominant kinesthetics, they are more on hands-on. So kinesthetic learners learn through moving, doing, and touching. Kinesthetic learners like to move around when talking or listening. They need to take frequent study breaks. They are explorers at heart and like to learn through active participation in what they are learning. They like to chew gum or to snack while they study. And they like to stand rather than sit when learning something new. And the physical kinesthetic, what do you usually do? They, you can help them create a game. They can do an experiment. They can construct a model. They can build a representation, and they can create sport. Or the dominant visual. The visual learners, they learn through seeing. They often like to have a quiet place to study. They like to use colorful highlighters to mark notes and text. They like written instructions and prefer to take detailed notes as they listen to lectures. Or the visual learners remember visual details with ease and prefer to see what they are learning. And they learn best with visual materials such as pictures, charts, videos, illustrated textbooks, handouts, and more. So the visual, you can let them create a visual diagrams. You can let them graph results of a survey. You can create a comic strip. You can create a poster. You can draw a map. You can create a PowerPoint. And you can let them create a webcast or a video. So about the dominant auditory. So auditory learners learn through listening and they like to have music on while they study and they like to read aloud and often like to talk to themselves or create musical jingles to help them learn new material or they talking through a problem or they remember by talking out loud and they like to have things explained orally rather than through written instructions. So the musical or auditory, you can let them write a song or rap. You can create a dance. You can let them create a dance. You can let them write a jingle. You can let them create a rhyme. Or you can let them use an instrument to create. Diversity, this stands for different. I for individuals, V for valuing, E for each other, R is regardless of, S is for skin, I is for intellect, T is for talents, or Y is for years. So diversity means different individuals valuing each other regardless of skin, intellect, talents, or years. So in diversity, there is beauty and there is strength by Maya Angelou. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you learned something. My next video will be a sample lesson plan about the learners diversity where I use differentiated activities to address the diversity of my learners in my class. See you next time. Bye.